So this is a good opportunity. I'm going to turn it over to Kelsey and Michelle, and they are going to talk very specifically about PDA Go, which is the name of their app. And, before I hand it over, I can't be more proud of what PDA has done. You'll notice not a national association, not, dozens and dozens of staff members. They need to be more prudent on budget, and arguably they have knocked it out of the park with really everything that they've done. So with that, Kelsey and Michelle, really appreciate you guys picking it up from here and sharing some of those things that you've done for the rest of our clients.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brad, thank you for passing it over. I definitely think it's been a great experience to work with Michelle over at PDA Go. And like Brad mentioned, she is the communications coordinator. And thank you for the context, Brad. We are about to talk about PDA Go's success story here. But before we do, Michelle, I'd like you to touch upon what was your experience with PDA Go prior to it being this mission control that we see it being now?
Sure. Thanks, Kelsey. Well, prior to our experience now, I think we had some similar struggles deciding on what content to post, having a full board of content ready to go. We had some trouble asking for influencers, members who would be able to go in and help to try to get the app going. There was some hesitancy about sending push notifications. We don't want to bug everyone, just to not be annoying with it. But and we also weren't using it internally. We weren't using the app as an organization to message each other and whatnot.
Yeah, and Michelle, you're not alone. I've seen this with clients when they first get the app, and I think it's great we're on the line here to talk about how those things shifted over time. And I know you mentioned hesitant to send pushes. That's something as the client success team that now we are really encouraging our clients to do. So I'm excited to touch more upon that one as well. But Michelle, moving from those items, how did you all decide to start using the Clowder app as a main source of info? What was that kickstart to get you all going?
Sure. Well, I'm going to thank Alexa for being proactive and sending the checklist in the newsletter. I read all of the Clowder newsletters religiously, and I remember it was about March 20th, perhaps. No, I'm sorry, March 13th. Anyway, she sent out the newsletter, and it had the checklist of things to do coronavirus-wise so that we could implement that with the app. I went through and I just checked off everything, and we had it implemented, and everything just really snowballed from there. They were just such great tools, and once we started advertising those tools and letting people know that that was where they could go for all of their information that they needed, it just snowballed, like I said. And we also used our other avenues to advertise the fact that the app was mission control.
Michelle, I think those are great points. And one of my favorite things was receiving Michelle's email back to Alexa's checklist. She emailed back right away and she was like, this is exactly what I was hoping for. Now I know what information to put where. And so with that, it kind of goes into the start of how Michelle started uploading this content into the different features of the Clowder app. So Michelle, would you mind walking us through what content you uploaded to what features, or maybe how you made those decisions?
Sure. Well, as mostly everyone saw, mid-March, everyone was inundated with so much information. Our parent association, the American Dental Association, was feeding us a lot of information that we wanted to pass on to our membership. So primarily it went into the news feed. Prior we were doing members in the news. We had some legislation going on, and then we started introducing the COVID-19 news alerts. We also promoted our online CE courses so that people could feel like they could still get their requirements in if they weren't able to attend in person. And we also promoted the fact that we were working with suppliers for PPE, which is still in process. So with that, with the news feed, we crossed that over with the forums. So we started posting ADA information in the very beginning, and we would tell members in the news feed to go to the forums to discuss. And sometimes we would just post information in the forums just to spark a discussion. So that helped as well. The
And
resources.
Michelle, I know one thing that we talked about for the forums was that once you all posted with that PDA communications that you can see on the left side, you let me know that the members started posting on their own and kind of took it from there. It wasn't a lot of staff involvement as much so as just monitoring. It was more that the members wanted to communicate with other members.
Yes. And, you know, just given the situation, I think everyone let their guard down a little bit and they weren't as afraid to have some words attached to their name. They just wanted to know that other people were feeling the same way that they were and to get some help from people that were in the same industry. So it was really, it was just really timely for everyone to start getting a comfort level for posting in the forums. Whereas prior to, we couldn't get anyone to do it.
So I think it's great that the conversation just kept going.
Oh, it's been really great. And one of the things that I think is really neat is that we've seen a lot of potential leaders emerge in the forums, people that are supportive of PDA and the ADA, and people that are supportive of dentistry as a whole and supportive of their colleagues. So also
Michelle,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to say about the resources, the items that we would post in the news feeds, then we would make them available in the resource folders, and we would advertise that as well. So they knew that if they didn't catch it in the news feed or save it, then they would be able to go to the resources.
I think that's a great point. And one other feature that we don't see on the screen is push notifications. I remember you talking about how you were hesitant at first to send them for that content of push notifications during the coronavirus. Did you all feel more comfortable? Was there any, pushback from members on sending them out? What did you see as an organization and from your members with push notifications?
I think that, like I said, we let our guard down too, and we knew that we just had to get the information out. And being able to make a specific subject line for the push notifications so that we could customize that. So whether it be just for you or member exclusive, that way we could let people know that this is a member benefit, but they're also getting information as it's happening. We got no pushback whatsoever. I have never heard anyone complain that they get too many pushes. It's really no harm, no foul. If they don't want it, they just swipe it away. If they do, then they'll know that it's there for them to go back and look at.
And I think that's the greatest thing, is that no one emailed you, hey, we're getting too many push notifications. Instead, it seems like your members were really thankful to get those constant updates on what was going on with the ADA as well as PDA.
Yes. And there were some
days, I know
there were some days in April, for example, where we would send out 6 or 7 push notices in a day, just because there was that much information coming across that we wanted to direct them to.
Which I think is great. And for the clients listening on the line, I know some of you may think 6 or 7 a day might seem like a lot. But again, PDA got no pushback from their members. Their members were happy to receive those updates. So don't be afraid if you have breaking news or things you want to let your members know is going on, to send those pushes because they will appreciate them. And like Michelle just said, no harm, no foul. They can just swipe them away if they don't want them.
Right.
I mean, I see we're moving on here to not just the content that was in the app, and Michelle, great job walking them through all of the different features and what content you put in there. As far as promotion, what were you all doing to let your members know that PDA Go was mission control?
Sure. So I'm fortunate that I have all of those different avenues at my at my computer. So anything that would go out on newsfeed or a push would also be cross-posted to Facebook and Twitter, to dedicated emails for our membership, and then also for our website, where we have a dedicated COVID-19 resource center for our members. So everything, it was everywhere to the extent that it could be. So we got to be a little bit creative with Facebook and Twitter because we were limited on how much content we could put. Occasionally we would do just a headline and read more in the app. And if you don't have the app, you needed to have it yesterday because there's a lot of information in there that you need. And just letting them know, we have QR codes that we advertise on the app and different things. And just letting everyone know that the app's available for Apple and Android devices, including member testimonials about how they love getting the news alerts. So we've seen a lot of growth, I think, from those Facebook and Twitter, and even membership emails. There are a lot of members, quite a few actually, that don't have the app, PDA Go, yet, but they do get the emails. So we give them a constant reminder that they don't need to log into a computer, go to their email, read it. They could just get it on their app.
I think those are all great points, and I know I personally receive your emails, so I can see that those download links are always in the bottom. And like Michelle mentioned, the tweet that they put out did have a testimonial. So what you see on that left side with the quote is they actually pulled a quote from a member. And Michelle, do you happen to remember what the quote was about, to give our clients an idea?
Yeah, basically Dr. Scrimali says that since he always has his phone with him, he loves getting the news alerts that come across the screen as we post them. So I think most of us are used to carrying a device with us wherever we go. And the app is nice because we can kind of multitask if we're, somewhere else in the building at work, or any place else we might be. We have access to that in our hands. So he was really happy with that. We use that quote quite a bit because it just lets people know that that he's happy to get them, the news alerts.
I think it was great to pull a member quote and show your other members how, the ones that are in the app appreciate it. And then I know that you all received recognition on the app from your members as well, aside from this quote. And Edward, if you could flip to the next slide for us. We saw these comments from your members. What additional recognition did you receive just from your members, as well as I know there was another email sent out with recognition for PDA Go?
Sure. Well, it was really nice to get that feedback from our members when we reached our 1,000 user milestone. We received an acknowledgement from the ADA News that they had been seeing our activity on social media, and they acknowledged that and just thought that we were doing a really great job with it, and they wanted to thank us for doing that. So between that and what we've gotten from members, several staff members have even received phone calls or just comments during conversations that the app has been a real lifesaver, and it's really helped them to have access to the information that they want and need. So they've been very appreciative of the work we're doing with that.
Michelle, I think that is all great, and I know you have worked hard for this as well, which brings us to our next slide, is the success that PDA Go saw during this time, which is over 1,000 app users. I do have confetti here, so
yay!
Go PDA Go. We saw your post in the app, as well as Michelle, I know you sent out this downloads, and as you can see, they got over 400 downloads just for March 2020. Using this content and promotion combined, this is the results that they saw. And Michelle, I know you put this little promo in the app to let all the users know the success you all were seeing, but what do you attribute these increases to?
Well, I'd have to say first and foremost is really the support and the ideas that we get from you as Clowder staff and a company. Take advantage of every piece of information that Clowder gives, because it really does help. on our end, it's really also consistent messaging and promotion. So at the end of all of our news feed posts, we always remind everyone that we have Facebook, Twitter, the website, emails, that we have that, and we do that with every single platform. We cross promote. And we make sure that we're giving important content, we're giving people what they want to see, especially at this time. And we're just using all of the features of the app in concert with each other. So for example, with the push notifications, if I would have created a new folder in the resources, let's say for small business tools, I would just put a push out saying, hey, there's a new folder in resources, check it out. Not attached to any news or anything like that, just a push about that. And then with the forums too, we have a dedicated message that goes out every time someone posts in the forum, and it just says there's a discussion going on, we want your 2 cents. And that's how people know that something new's been posted and they can contribute to.
Michelle, I think those are great points, and I appreciate you saying the Clowder point. Michelle and I did not talk about that anytime recently, so I think Alexa probably appreciates that as well, knowing her emails are appreciated and that you read them. And Michelle, I know you've been on a few webinars with Brad as well. So it's exciting that those things do make a difference for you as well as the success of the app. And I know not just your members appreciate it, also internally. So aside from these 1,000 app users that are loving the app and commenting great things, I know staff have also adopted the app. So Edward, if you'll click to that next slide there. Michelle, could you tell us a little bit about how you all are using it internally now?
Sure. So, it was around March 20th where we all found out very quickly that we were going to be working from home and remotely. And we had special groups set up within the app, one for our communications crew. We had another one for the app crew, which we call the PDA Go Squad, with certain staff members in those groups. And it really helps to identify a sense of urgency. It's almost like a text message, but everyone's inboxes for email are just overflowing, and things get lost very quickly. So when we have something urgent or something we need attention paid to, we send we send a message through the app to that person or to that group and just put it out there. And when you get a message saying PDA Go, we know that it's got a little bit more urgency than something that might show up in the email box.
I definitely know, I feel that too. Michelle also messages me in the app, which is, I think, a great way for me to respond as well to any urgent requests or quick questions she might have. So as a client, do know that you have that option to message your client success manager in the app for those quick responses. And I love the names that Michelle and PDA has for their groups. It makes it a little bit more fun to have that PDA Go Squad and comms crew. So making it urgent, but also fun while you're working, maybe up if you're, helping your kids with school or about to go, eat lunch. When you're walking there, you can do work, and it doesn't quite feel as much like work. So Michelle, I'm happy to see that you all use it internally, and I know you spearheaded that. So I think that was a great thing to do.
Thank you.
And so with that, this is Michelle and I's portion, and we are done with our Q&A. There is time for questions at the end, so we'll stay on. But as you can see, Michelle and I work together, and I think it's been a great journey during these past months. And to see that quick success has been really exciting, and the whole PDA team feels it too.
I agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.